Our next talk here in the classroom from Baljinder Singh from Houston, Texas. Going to talk about AI proofing your WordPress development career. Here's Baljinder.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining today. And the topic is really simple, how to future-proof your development career in AI world. And it's mostly for the developers, the freelancers who are working in the WordPress industry, and also for people who are having their boutique agency for WordPress. Little bit of introduction about myself. My name is Baljinder Singh. I also go by word Mike because my name could be tongue twister sometimes. And I'm born and raised in India and came in US in 2018. And I'm in the WordPress industry since 2009, making my WordPress career, started as a freelancer, then had few guys hired. So I have my agency now, and we make plugins, themes. We also customize stuff. And yeah, some of the plugins on the market that we already have, Ignition Deck as a crowdfunding, and our new product, WP Admin AI. So who this presentation is about, this will benefit freelancers because I was one of them, and the boutique agency because we are one of them right now. And this whole presentation is based on my experience of this new AI world that we are going through right now. And it's not going to be about any coding or tools or any IDEs. I'm not going to show any of those tools, but mostly on the business side of things, of how you can propose to the client and how you can price out in this market. And to start with the index, what we will cover the project lifecycle, how it used to work in the back good old days, which are not that far, it's like 2 or 3 years ago. Then what's the new normal, the impact, and how we have to adjust. Then going through some money perspective, we'll go through some test cases of the projects, and we'll see how we can target them and how we can deal with them right now. And also some of the pointers of how to stay relevant in the market. To start with, we had the traditional project lifecycle, and I can use my example of how we used to work. We used to find the projects on the marketplaces like Upwork, TopTel, Freelancer, Codable. So that's what we used to do. We would find the project, we would see if it is a good fit for us as per our skills and experiences, and then we would set up consultation calls with the clients. We'll try to scope out the whole requirements of the client, and then we would propose them. And in our proposal, there would be set of like the tasks that need to be done, what needs to be delivered in the steps, and also the quote, which was just based on the hours. So what we actually did, we translated the requirements of the client in actionable list, like in sort of like what we are delivering to you in this proposal. And the only way or the only time we could charge the client was post-hire. And that was also based on how much hours we are spending in coding or developing. If you're familiar with Upwork timer, that's how it used to, bill the clients, and that's how it used to pay you. You have to start the timer whenever you're starting the code or execution or configuration, and then all those hours that you have worked, that's the price that you are getting. So we were doing an hour-based price for the client. So there's no pricing for the solution building. There's no pricing for the task that you divided. So the whole value was in the execution. So we literally were converting the normal language of the client to actionable list. For example, someone would say they need an e-commerce. We would say like, all right, you need a WooCommerce. So we'll set up a WooCommerce, we'll set up the design, we'll set up the settings, products, and stuff like that, and that's the whole product. And whatever time we put in execution, that's our bill. So now the AI interface comes in, which knows how to translate from simple language to technical language and the otherwise. So what happened is several of the clients, they're going to use the chatbot. There are a decent number of clients. And why we think like that? Because I'm quoting an example of Upwork because that's the platform. I'm pretty sure if you're a developer, you might know about it. It's very popular. So we noticed a lot of less projects on the market, right? And we come up with a hypothesis that it might be due to they're using the chatbots first, which there obviously are. So that's impact number one. The impact number two that happened was we were being undercut by developers. There are more developers in the market right now than there were a few years ago. You can blame on the layovers, you can blame on new developers coming on the market, and they are capable to use these AI tools much better than us, the veterans, I would say. And finally, what it's doing, we are competing with either the AI tools or these big pool of developers that joined. So let's think it through. What we can do, what we can put on table that makes us apart from these tools or these developers. So if I say earlier we used to provide tasks, but the clients can provide the tasks now as well. What if we provide solution? Solution can be bigger than the tasks, right? Now let's take one step further. How about if we provide results-based solution? So which means results are on more priority, results are greater than the solution. I'll take an example of a business owner who owns a restaurant, right? So what is his focus? What does he want? He wants new orders coming from his website. He wants reservations, the table reservation. He wants his customers to see the ambience, the team, what's the background and stuff like that. But basically he wants sales, right? So the whole results are sales. For that business owner, would it matter to learn new tools? No, right? For that business owner, would it matter like what kind of tool being used to provide those results? He just wants results. So let's talk about how we can price based on the result-based solution and how we can price as per the value. To do that, let's take 3 test cases of three kind of projects. So first case is having a simple business catalog website, five pages, not more than that. In terms of functionality, you just have like a contact form where customers can come in, leads can come in, they can submit the information, and that's it. If I go the old pricing way, right, I'm pretty sure such website without any customization, using the pre-built templates, I can do it for like, let's say 20 hours and multiply it with $100 an hour. That's a very conservative figure, right? With $2,000 previously, I could make that website. Now think about a result-based solution. Let's focus on the outcome. What would be the outcome of this whole project, of this catalog website? More conversions, right? More leads. Either you want conversions in the terms of customers, or you want the conversion in terms of investors or the team members, right? If I present a solution to this business owner saying like, I can make a strategy to increase your sales, to increase conversions, I'm pretty sure a value-based pricing by average, I can charge $5,000 easily. Let's take a second example of e-commerce. For e-commerce, if I think the old way, I would just have to come up with, what kind of design you want. I can install some pre-built design, install WordPress, install WooCommerce, set it up with taxing, shipping, payments, and all those stuff, and also could add a few products. And that would take me hardly like 30 hours, right? Again, with the same $100 an hour value, it'll be $3,000. But let's go through the result-focused solution. What would be the expected result from an e-commerce business owner? The result would be obviously more sales, more money coming through. So how about if I propose him a sales strategy? I would ask him what kind of sale you want. And based on that, I make a strategy catered to him. And also by the same way, you can figure out how much value of this product that you can put on. So what you can do, you can optimize the product pages, you can optimize the checkout experiences. You have to make sure there's a sale with the least amount of clicks, scrolls, and user interaction. And I'm pretty sure with such kind of website, on average, I can value for like $8,000. And these all numbers are based on our past clients. Let's go through the third and the last test case, a learning management system. In the old way, I'll just set up a LearnDash, we'll set up a design, we'll set up the add-ons for LearnDash, and we would sell it for like, let's say 40 hours easily. Now, let's focus on the results. What does a learning management system focused on? The focus is the enrollments and the engagements. We have to maximize the enrollment, and we have to make sure whoever is enrolled is engaging to the whole system, right? Making the course pathways, making a sales funnel so we can get more and more students, and we can do some sort of like gamification so they are more engaged in the system. And I'm pretty sure with such kind of website who deliver all these kind of results, it can be sold for 10 grand. Okay, so the question over here is how we can define the value of a project. It's totally different for all kind of businesses. It's different for all kind of customers, and how you can figure out. There are some 3 basic questions that we have to evolve for. So the first is, previously we would ask, what do you need to be built? And the customer would say like, all right, I need a e-commerce, or I need a marketplace, I need a membership site, and stuff like that. Now, how about if we ask the business owner, what are the outcomes you're after? And based on the outcome, then you can figure out what could be the value, right? Because if someone says they want a $100,000 sale within next month, the value of the project would be different than the customer who says like, I just need 30 grand per month, that's it. The second question, it tells you a lot of things about the customer. So first is, so when we ask, what have you tried so far? The client can tell you, like he hired some other guy from another agency, or he has used, let's say, ChatGPT, right? Based on that, you can figure out how, I won't say landlocked, but weblocked, how weblocked this customer is. And based on that, you can value your pricing. Obviously not exploiting the customer, but creating a value that makes sense for him based on his results that he's expecting. Also, asking him how is it working right now, and what are the pain points. So I'll explain that with an example. Let's take an example of a customer or a client who owns a website having just a simple form, and what he wants to do and what he's doing right now is at the end of every week, he's going in and copying and pasting those values of form fields into, like, let's say a Google sheet, right? You ask the customer what you are doing. He says, I'm spending just like 1 hour per week, and that's all I'm doing, right? And the same way you can figure out that's the pain point. And at that point of time, you can see like, he's spending 1 hour per week, 52 hours per year, right? So that's the amount of hours he's wasting, and you multiply with his, let's say, you can ask him what his hourly rate is or worth is. And based on that, let's say if he says my hourly worth is $100 an hour, okay? If he's wasting 52 hours a year, that's $5,200 a year he's wasting. If you say like, all right, I have a solution, I'll give it to you for $2,500, which is less than the half of the amount you are wasting per year, and that's one time, I'm pretty sure the client would happily accept it. And you don't have to do anything, you just have to set up a Zapier connector in the back end. Now, what are the skills that we have to develop? So first skill that we have to develop is troubleshooting. I was used to troubleshoot the old way, like going on WordPress Codex, then trying some functions, looking at the syntax, going on Stack Overflow, searching for it and stuff like that. So there was a lot of like activities that I have to do for troubleshooting, but now you can do it like pretty easily. But this is a required skill moving forward, because as you know, WordPress is made of hundreds and thousands of plugins, hundreds and thousands of themes. It's going to be really challenging for a system, or maybe even impossible for a system, to combine all those things, look for any known compatibility issues, and give you an answer. So the troubleshooting is kind of must if you want to continue your career in the development. The second thing is, the second thing, the second skill that we want to develop is business consulting. You should be able to consult a business based on their product or service they're selling, based on the customers they are catering to, right? The third skill is workflow design. By workflow design, I mean making other tools to integrate with the WordPress site of your customers. And the last one is benefit packaging. So it's mostly on the proposal writing skill, because whenever you write a proposal, make sure you're packaging benefit, like showing the customer what he will get after hiring you or us, right? And you don't have to do anything or anything special. You just write the proposal, make a prompt to ChatGPT or whatever you want to use, saying like, convert it into a benefit packaged proposal, and that's all you get. Okay, so this is going to be the last slide, and there are some tips that I want to share, which we learned hard way. First is upgrading the admin part with AI. And just to be honest, development or coding is not a poem anymore. So it is considered as admin part now. So automate your admin part with AI as much as you can. You can find a lot of tools in the market. Then keeping a human edge, keeping a difference with the tools and yourself. So first is being judgmental. If you think a customer has like a idea that would not work, that would end up in a lot of messes, walk away, or just tell him that it's not going to work. The second thing is prioritization. You must be able to prioritize the tasks or the feedback of the customer, like if it's a showstopper or not, if it's preventing a sale to happen or it's a functional issue. You should be able to prioritize what you need to do first. And the third thing is empathy. You should be able to synchronize with the client's values and what his business is, what he wants to do, and in what way we want to do. So for example, if a client's value is eco-friendly, suggest him something like Green Geeks hosting, which is eco-friendly hosting, right? And the fourth thing and most important is be accountable for your work, because all these AI tools, they literally have I agree to terms and conditions saying like we are not accountable, right? So what makes us human is standing behind our work, make it accountable. And the last one that we are also following right now, we're on the path, is building a product. You don't have to make yourself available all the time. So your business is running as long as you are working. That's a recipe not successful. So instead, what you can do on the side is you can build your own product, build a plugin, build a service, build a theme that can work even when you're asleep. And with that said, I want to conclude the presentation and would invite any thoughts, suggestions, and also questions. Any questions? Awesome. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yes.
So, this is really good overall. I really like it. When you talk about, so like you lead from results, which is what you're trying to sell as opposed to the code, and then you're talking about accountability. Do you offer anything in your proposals around like a guarantee that helps with that? Whereas like AI might not be responsible for fulfilling those results. Do you find that helpful in building trust with clients to offer some type of guarantee?
Yes, it does. So we put like some of the wordings that would say like, you know, our plugin, it's gonna keep working as long as, you know, the WordPress plugins, the base changes. Alright, cool. Thank you guys.